All right, Cleveland Browns and the Atlanta Falcons. Guys, this is a fairly interesting game because we have two offenses that have actually thrived so far from an efficiency standpoint, which I don't think anybody would have thought. Cleveland Browns a point and a half favorite right now over the Falcons, a total of 47 or 47 and a half. And of course, two defenses, Stephen, that rate in the bottom third of nearly every metric that there is out there. So it is a situation where you go, wait, Cleveland and Atlanta in the era of 42 and 43 point totals is sitting at 47 and a half at some books. Yeah, because the offenses are actually moving the ball and the defenses are not very good. And so that's where you get one of the higher totals of the week in a game with its quarterbacked by Jacoby Brissett and Marcus Mariota.
For sure. I think we all agree that the Falcons defense has been as bad as advertised coming into the season. But before I get into this, I'm just curious, do you guys agree with me that the Falcons offense has outperformed our expectations at this point?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially considering they didn't even get Kyle Pitts involved in the offense until last week, right? I mean, that's the thing that's crazy to me is that their numbers sit where they're at. And the first good game Kyle Pitts had all season was last week. And even that was just a good game by his standards, certainly nothing elite.
Yeah, for sure. And Adam, I'll be curious to hear what you think about this too in just a moment. But to drive the point home here, you have Myles Garrett, who's just in a car accident that reportedly flipped his car a million times. So thankfully he's alive, first of all. But we'll see if he plays in this game. The Cleveland defense, 12th in success rate, but 27th in EPA. So they're giving up chunk plays. Bottom 20 as well against the run in both EPA and success rate. And that was when they played Carolina, the Jets, and Pittsburgh. So they've had trouble stopping bottom of the barrel offenses through 3 weeks. And to your point, Matt, about the Falcons offense, really surprising metrics through 3 weeks, despite having games against the Saints defense and the Rams defense. They are 9th and 3rd in EPA per play and success rate. Marcus Mariota, top 10 in EPA and CPOE blend. So that's expected points added and completion percentage over expectation. And I think, because they are playing this well, getting Drake London involved, they finally got Kyle Pitts involved last week against Seattle, and Cleveland not having a top 50 coverage grade corner by PFF through 3 weeks. There's some matchup advantages here for Atlanta. So I think this is a solid teaser leg for the Falcons. There's a couple +1.5 still on the board as we record. Get that up to +7.5. But Adam, I think this Falcons offense deserves an upgrade through 3 weeks.
Well, I think look, Adam, the fourth highest graded passer through 3 weeks according to PFF. Jacoby Brissett is the fourth highest graded passer in the NFL through the first 3 weeks of the season. I don't think a lot of people would have thought that. He has, though, targeted David Njoku early and often, and Njoku is questionable for this game, along with Myles Garrett, along with Denzel Ward as well for Cleveland.
You didn't even get halfway down the list when it comes to injuries. There's way more than that to report. We mentioned Myles Garrett already. Then there's Ward and Njoku. JOK might be one of the best linebackers in the NFL. He's questionable to go in this game. Batonio's questionable. Conklin's questionable. All of this leads me to where I would normally make this evaluation and why I haven't bet it. I have Cleveland as close to a 4-point favorite by my numbers in this game. And that's, for me, a lot of belief in the Cleveland running game and a lot of belief that when we talk about the fact that you have two bottom third defenses, you have one bottom third defense that we expected and one bottom third defense that we absolutely did not. And so that's where I'm not going to get lost in small sample size too badly with the Cleveland Browns, is that this defense was expected to be better. That being said, is this the week that it's going to happen with all the injuries that they have to try to account for on that side of the ball? So I like Cleveland quite a bit in this spot. What I don't really love is what their injury situation is. On the Atlanta side, to answer the question that Steven was putting out there, I think what we finally started to see this year as opposed to last year, which is kind of funny when you think about Marcus Mariota versus Matt Ryan, you started to see the Arthur Smith that got hired from Tennessee in the first place. They've actually been pretty darn good at mixing it up with the formations, at mixing it up with moving Marcus Mariota around to avoid pressure, which obviously you didn't have that option when it comes to Matt Ryan. And Drake London's been outstanding as an addition to this offense to give them the receiver that they thought they were going to have with Calvin Ridley before he discovered the state of Florida. So, ultimately, I like where your head is at with a teaser leg on Atlanta just because of the Cleveland injury situation. That being said, if I were to bet this game straight and you told me that I had even relative health among the guys that I mentioned, I would be with Cleveland on the road.
Yeah, I also have a Falcons teaser leg in this one. Took them up to 2.5. Took them up to 8.5. This was sitting 2.5. So the Falcons have gotten some love in this game. So I've got a Rams leg with the Falcons in this one. Again, I knew there was a lot of injury situation stuff going on. Honestly, the Myles Garrett stuff did, in fact, sway me to go ahead and put this in my account, because I just figured, like, hey, look, this dude's not going to be able to play this week. Like, he's going to be all banged up, and that's not going to happen. And then with the other litany of injuries that they have, Garrett's not ruled out. So, I mean, he might actually play. So the handicap for me might go through the window here, but I'm still fairly confident that Atlanta's going to be able to move the ball and do some scoring here. There's just, again, one last little stat here from Jacoby Brissett. Not only is he the 4th highest graded quarterback according to Pro Football Focus here, I mean, he's only thrown 1 pick. He's got the same number or more touchdown passes as Aaron Rodgers, Matthew Stafford, Jalen Hurts, Kyler Murray, Tom Brady, and Russell Wilson. So he is in the same breath as those guys through the first 3 weeks of the NFL season. So just some interesting stuff in this one for sure. I think if I had to play it straight as well, I would probably still lean to the Brown side. But if you're going to give me through the 3 and the 7, I think that we can keep this thing within 1 score. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it from that standpoint.